Now, some of you guys may wonder how anyone could walk into a garage like this and pick anything to drive. I mean, of all the cars to choose from, we've got JDM cars, we've got supercars, hypercars, V6s, V10s, V8s, V12s, twin turbo cars, NA cars, modified cars, stock cars. How do you pick something to drive with this much choice? Well, I'll let you into the secret that I use. It's really simple and it goes like this. You just walk up and grab any of the red keys. What's up, guys? Welcome. My name is Charlie. I help make content with the cars across the social platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm out here today because I'm gonna grab a car to take for a short road trip up to Nashville to visit some family. And I thought, what would be the perfect car for the job? And I kept coming back to the same car. Now, this car doesn't get a ton of love on the channel. It kind of gets overshadowed by a few other cars, you know, these crazy cars like the Viper. But this is the perfect car for this job. Now, everybody who drives it loves it. Everybody asks to drive it whenever we go on longer road trips together as a group.
Hey, can I take the 812?
No, dude, I'm filming with it right now.
Okay, I'll go to the beach.
So, I don't know what that was about, but welcome everyone to the 812 GTS. This is Ferrari's current iteration of the Grand Tour. Now, Ferrari has a long history of making really iconic Grand Tours, dating all the way back to the late 60s with the Daytona. And the recipe pretty much is still the same with this car. We've got a V12 up front, rear-wheel drive at the back, 2 seats in the middle, and really it's more focused on comfort and crushing miles than crushing lap times. But with all that said, this car is still absolutely no slouch. It makes nearly 800 horsepower to 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, has a top speed of 211 miles an hour, revs to 9,000 RPM. This car really screams. And like I said, everybody who's driven it is still wildly impressed with the performance. On all of our back road cruises with some friends, this is definitely one of the cars that people jump to first. And for me, I think this is gonna be the perfect car to take on this road trip. Now, there are 2 other reasons why I wanted to make this video this weekend. But we'll get to those in just a second. One of them has to do with the V12 up front. We're gonna talk about that in just a minute. We're gonna get it out on the road. Now, on to the first reason I wanted to make a video with the 812 GTS this weekend. Now, I wasn't originally planning on making a video. I was just gonna borrow the car, go see some family, and come back. But I thought, why not take the opportunity to share this car with you guys? Because the more and more I drive it, the more and more I realize how good it is at what it's designed to do. And all that ties into the first of the 2 reasons I think this car is so special, which is where this car sits in Ferrari's current lineup and that big naturally aspirated V12 up front. You see, I think the 812 very well could be the last mainstream production Ferrari that comes with a non-hybrid, non-turbocharged V12 engine, which to me is kind of sad because when I think of Ferrari, I think of a V12. All of my favorite Ferraris in history, all of the flagship cars are V12s, and a lot of my favorite Ferrari Formula 1 cars are V12s. And this car really has that character. And as a Grand Tour, it's extremely comfortable, and there's something about just having a big, really smooth engine that's got a lot of, I'll put $1 in the jar for saying the S word, but it's got a lot of soul to it. It feels like it has so much character. I do wish it was just a little bit louder in the interior, but I understand it's a Grand Tour, so I mean, it makes sense. And speaking of that V12, some fun facts about it. This is actually a 6.5 liter V12. It's a derivative of the predecessor to the 812, the F12. It makes 789 horsepower, makes 530 foot-pounds of torque, and revs to 9,000 RPM. And this is just the GTS version. The comp version of the 812 revs to 9,500 and makes 830 horsepower. That car is insane. But this car also has so much to offer. And I think one of the greatest party piece tricks of this car is how adaptable it is to every situation. You know, I can leave it in auto and cruise on these back roads or on the interstate, and it's really comfortable, which is really nice on a road trip companion car. But when you want to blast on back roads like we were doing earlier, it does that really, really, really well too. And couple that with the fact that this is a GTS, which means that the roof comes off, and it makes it just the ultimate road trip car. So when the sun comes out, you can just throw the top down and have just as much fun enjoying the back roads. It really is an excellent road trip companion car. You really look for any excuse you can to drive it anywhere. If you forget something back at the hotel, turn around and you're not that bummed out that you have to drive all the way back, because this car makes the journey so much more special. Now, moving on to the second reason I wanted to make a video with the 812 GTS. It's kind of a bummer, but this car isn't going to be in the collection for too much longer. Now, it's not all bad news, because there is something replacing this car, but it's going to be really sad to see this one go. Like I said in the garage tour video, the cars are always going through the collection. Now, there are a few staple cars that will never be sold, but unfortunately, this is one of the ones that it's lived its cycle at the 458 Destroyer Garage. And there's something else even more special. I'm not going to give it away. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see what's going to replace this car. I promise it's going to be worth it. It's even more incredibly special than this car is. But unfortunately, there's not enough room in the garage, and so this is going to eventually have to find its way to a new home. Now, unfortunately, I'm almost back to the garage. It's time for me to put the car up. I've really enjoyed my time with the car this weekend. It's excelled all my expectations. Everywhere I've taken it, everything I've put it through, interstate, stop and go, back roads, sunshine, rain, it's just excelled at everything. It's such a great road trip companion car, and I'm gonna really miss it when it's gone from the garage, but I know what's replacing it, and it's gonna be even better. Make sure you stick around to the channel. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Really short and sweet. Just wanted to feature this car a little bit on the channel because it really hasn't got any love up to this point. The next car that's replacing it will get a ton of love, I assure you, but if you want to check out what that is, make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. Leave a comment on what your favorite Grand Tourer is. This one currently is my favorite, but let me know what yours is. If you enjoyed it, like I said, like it, share it with your friends. We'd really appreciate it. And I'm gonna get back to driving, and I will see you guys in the next one.